Habari gani rafiki? Hi friend, I'm so glad to see you again. MamaHadithi here, and today I'll be telling you a story about a boy called Joka. Joka was 7 years old and he lived in Nairobi, Kenya. He lived in a neighborhood. It was actually a slum area, and his house didn't quite look like most of his classmates. His school was a very good school, but the community that he lived in, their homes were not made of stone like most of his friends in school. His house was made of tin. The walls were made of tin, the roof was made of tin. And unlike his friends who had 4, 5, 6 bedroomed houses, he only had one room in his house for his mom, his dad, and his little sister. But that didn't change who he was. He was a very kind boy, very good student, one of the top students in his class, and he loved sports. So he had about 8 or 9 friends that would get together every day after school and play soccer together. They'd usually play in the soccer pitch right next to the school, but one day after that pitch had to be closed down for some repairs on the ground, they had to look for another soccer pitch. And Joka had this great idea that maybe they can play in this soccer pitch that was pretty close to his house. But there was only one problem. He worried that the friends might not be his friends anymore when they get to see what kind of a house he lived in or what kind of a neighborhood he lives in. And he talked to his dad about that. And he said, "Dad, I'd love to invite my friends over to play at the soccer pitch that we use near our house, but I think once my friends see the kind of neighborhood I live in, I don't know if they'd want to be my friends anymore." And the dad said, "Well, you know what, Joka? I see why you feel concerned, but how you look, what clothes you wear, what shoes you wear, the color of your skin, that shouldn't affect the kind of person you are. So I think your friends like you because you're a good person, you're a kind boy, you're a smart boy, and you're a fun boy to play with. So I have another idea. Maybe if we make the kind of ball that we have in our home, maybe they'll also find that pretty cool and interesting, that they'd like it too, and they wouldn't focus on what kind of a pitch you're playing in. It's not a fancy pitch with nice perfect turf or grass. It's just a dirt field, but it works just as well." And so they decided to make a ball together. This was a ball that Joka had been making his whole life. So he picked up a couple of bags. These are biodegradable bags, so they're good for the environment, eco-friendly. And he got some old socks and old t-shirts, stuffed them in the bag. And after this video, look for my next video. We're actually going to learn how to make these bags. And so they created a soccer ball out of materials that they found in their house that they don't need anymore. And so they kept doing this until they came up with a nice big ball. Not this size, it was a soccer ball size, because they used a lot of bags and a lot of items on the inside. And that ball was perfectly round, and it was very solid, just like a soccer ball. They used that ball. He used that ball, took it to school, told his friends all about it, and he said, "Listen guys, I'm going to invite you to my neighborhood this evening for us to play soccer, because we can play there as long as we want to. It's not a perfect pitch. It's made of dirt. It doesn't have turf or grass. And my neighborhood is going to be a little different than what you guys are used to. But I think we'll have fun." And so when they got to his neighborhood, the kids were surprised, and some of them were a little bit shocked. And some of them were a little bit scared because they had never seen any of this before. They had not seen that people can live in tin houses and houses that were not as big as theirs. But once they got to the soccer pitch and they started playing with this amazing ball that Joka and his dad made in about 5 minutes, they thought, "This is pretty cool." And they played for about 2 hours. They couldn't stop. They had so much fun. once they left, they all cheered and said thank you to Joka for inviting them to his neighborhood. And then they left. And the funny thing is, they all went home and were challenged to make a ball themselves, and they all did. Well, they played in that neighborhood park for about 6 months. By the end of those 6 months, you'd not imagine how good they had become with this simple ball and a field made of dirt. They did so well that when they did tryouts to join the soccer team, not only did they all get in, but they did so well that within the first 3 months, their school team was sent to the national championship to represent the school in the country. And before you knew it, they all became champions because they became really good. And as Joka grew up, he actually became one of the best players in the school. He was the best player in his elementary school, and he became the best player in his high school. And it wasn't because of the fancy shoes or the fancy kits that he wore. No, it was because of his determination, and it was because of all the practice he did with his homemade ball in his dirt field. So it's not about the clothes you wear, the kind of shoes you wear, the style of your hair. All those are really cool and really good to have, but that's not what makes you special. That's not what makes you a good person. So I want to challenge you today to make some toys from things that you find in your home. Don't always ask for money to buy new toys. Also look around your home and think of what things can you reuse to make cool toys, and then share them with your friends. And remember, what's in your heart is most important, not what's outside or even the color of your skin. Okay, friends, have a wonderful day. Kwaheri. Bye-bye.